And the Dodgers take the field. The Dodgers, with their backs against the wall, will send Dusty Baker into left field today, and it's a sun field in the daytime here at Dodger Stadium. Dusty Baker in left. In center, again today, it is Reggie Smith. He played in center yesterday, having been primarily a right fielder this season. Over in right field today, it will be Lee Lacy. He was there yesterday against the left-handed pitcher for the Yankees, Don Gullett. They want his right-handed bat in there. At third base for the Los Angeles Dodgers, Ron Cey. Working at shortstop, hoping that the struggles he's had with his bat will not cause him trouble afield, Bill Russell. At second base, the other man in the middle defense who has been struggling with his bat, Davy Lopes. Even though he did hit a homer over the middle yesterday out at center field, he's still not hitting the way he can. Steve Garvey is at first base for Los Angeles, and doing the catching today, as he has through all of the World Series games, Steve Yeager. And on the mound, the right-hander Don Sutton, who came away with no decision against New York in his opening performance. He pitched 7 innings, he was touched for 8 hits, and 3 runs, all earned. Now, offensively, for the New York Yankees, you will have leading off Mickey Rivers. Mickey Rivers, who is 4 for 19 in this World Series. Willie Randolph will play second and bat number 2. Thurman Munson hitting third. Reggie Jackson cleaning up. Chris Chambliss will be batting 5th. Greg Nettles 6th. Lou Piniella move back to the number 7 position today. Bucky Dent will be at shortstop hitting 8th. And the pitcher, Don Gullett. The designated hitter is not being used this year in the World Series. It's used alternating years. It'll be used next year. And so now we go to the task at hand as Don Sutton warms up. Some comments from Tom Seaver.
Well, you know, Keith, these guys are here in the World Series. The Dodgers do have their backs against the wall. But still, they're here in the World Series. There are 600 other ball players, players from the Red Sox and the Cincinnati Reds and the Royals, and they're all home watching it on TV. They know the Dodgers know they either win today and go back to Yankee Stadium, they lose, they go to spring training. But it's kind of a professional attitude that they know they've gotten here through a 162-game schedule in the playoffs, and they're going to give it everything they have, obviously.
All right, the first pitch of the ball game. Throws it off to the left side, just beyond the Dodger dugout for strike 1, and defensively, the Dodgers set up on Rivers with Ron Cey in on the grass at third. They give him a little bit of a gap in right center field, not figuring, I guess, that he will pull Sutton. Beats it foul on the ground behind the plate, and it's strike 2.
Keith, Sutton's game plan against Rivers, as he said in the pregame show, keep the ball away from him, make him hit the ball in the air to left field. Try not to give him too much stuff inside.
Evidence of that, Dusty Baker toward the line in left field. Brought that one inside. He had a 2-strike count. Brought one in. Got a little high to Mickey Rivers, and the count is now 1-2. You can see the position of Baker. He's quite well toward the left field corner. That was a waste pitch. Now Sutton comes back on the outside corner, and Rivers fouls it to the screen.
If they do go inside, Keith, like they did the pitch previous to that one, they're going to come in off the plate. They're not going to throw the ball for a strike inside. I think if they throw the ball for a strike inside, it's going to be a mistake.
He made a mistake against Willie Randolph in Yankee Stadium and paid for it. On Willie.
See him giving the signs for outside. Yeager wants it outside.
1-2 to Rivers, and it's low and away. The Dodgers can ill afford many mistakes today. Cey backs off the grass. And the pitch is just outside. And so Don Sutton now has gone to a full count on Mickey Rivers, 3-2. On deck, Randolph and Thurman Munson, the third hitter. Hit on the ground to Davy Lopes at second base. 1 out. Sutton had to work a little as Rivers was patient, but he got him. 4-3, second to first. Here's Willie Randolph.
You used the word patient. It's unusual for Mickey to be patient. He's an impulsive swinger.
One gone, bases clean. Top of the first inning. And the pitch is high to Randolph. Inside, ball one. Again, would seem the plan to Randolph would be away and down. Ball is hit well to left center. Reggie Smith on the move with it, makes the catch. So 2 Yankees are retired. In the first game at Dodger Stadium, the Yankees jumped out to a 3-0 lead in the first inning. So far, Don Sutton has been able to get the first 2 hitters, and here comes a tired Thurman Munson. Right leg tender, but he has done a masterful job behind the plate throughout this World Series.
About this time in the series, everybody starts conjecturing as to who has been the most valuable player. Some feel that Thurman Munson, up till now, has been the most valuable player. Others talk about Lou Piniella.
The pitch to Munson, looped, short left center. Reggie Smith cannot get it. Base hit. The first hit of the ball game. Took it on the hands and shoveled it to short left center. Reggie Jackson.
However, Tom, should Gullett come through with a performance today similar to the one he registered in the opening contest, he would certainly merit very serious consideration.
Definitely have to have some consideration. I think talking about Thurman Munson, your point's well taken, Howard, that what a hitter does is very obvious, but what Munson has done the last couple of days, there's a purpose pitch.
That's a greeting.
Yeager will go right up after this pitch. This could have been straight a pickoff play at first base. Let's get out of my territory there, big boy.
High to center. Smith lost it for a moment, now finds it and gloves it. And so the Yankees. Munson singles, dies at first. After 1/2 inning of play, there is no score. Quickly setting the New York Yankees defensively, Lou Piniella in left field. Play of the series yesterday, up above the wall to Rob Say. Center field, Mickey Rivers, the quick one. Over in right field for the Yankees, chatting with the umpire there, is Reggie Jackson. Moving to the inside defense, Greg Nettles feeling very good today, he said. His shoulder doesn't hurt him at all. At third base, shortstop is Bucky Dent, who's been very steady in the series. Over at second base, it'll be Willie Randolph, who has also been very steady. At first base, Chris Chambliss, emphasizing the point the Yankees are yet to err in the '77 World Series. And back of the plate, the man we were talking about a moment ago, who's been brilliant in handling the Yankee pitchers, Thurman Munson. And on the mound, left-hander Don Gullett, who was so impressive in the opener, though he did not get a decision. He was a flamethrower personified. He will pitch to Davy Lopes and Bill Russell and Reggie Smith. Here in the bottom of the first inning, Ron Say, the cleanup man, Steve Garvey, batting fifth. Dusty Baker will follow him. Then comes Lee Lacy, Steve Yeager, and Don Sutton. Davy Lopes stands up. He has 1 hit in 15 trips to the plate. That the home run over the center field fence yesterday. A day in which the Dodgers have got to get off the back foot and take whatever they can get.
Tom, it might be appropriate right along here in the first inning to discuss the fork ball, the way Gullett throws it, how hard he throws it, what the action is. Ball 2.
Well, opening up game number 1 over in Yankee Stadium, I was calling his fork ball a curveball. It was difficult for me to tell up here, and then I talked to him afterwards about his curveball. He says, I didn't throw a curveball. Those were all fork balls. He's got a darn good one, and the action, that's his fastball, but the action will look like a curveball. From up here, it looked like a curveball.
Davy Lopes, in his last 2 games, has started the ball game with a walk and then stolen second base. And now he is 3-0 with Don Gullett. There's a strike.
You remember in game 1, Gullett got off with control problems in the first inning as well.
He often does that. The time to get Gullett, if you're going to get him, is early.
Ball is hit well to left. Piniella going to the corner, going back. Can't get it. It's off the screen. Lopes is around second, going for 3. Rivers comes across to help. A throw at third base. Trickle.
That ball carried on Piniella. He didn't think it was going as far as he did. We told you yesterday about the way the ball jumps out of here in the daytime. Watch.
It hit absolutely the very tippy top of the gate.
He couldn't
going
have
into the
had
bullpen. He had a miracle yesterday. Couldn't quite get to that one.
They hit the rail on top of that gate. That missed a home run probably by 2 inches.
No more than that. But he went back hesitantly. Did you notice, Tom? Thinking perhaps that he had it under control, or at least
well, with the
leading up
sky,
to
you know, with the sky, the bright sky, etc., it could be very difficult to judge out there.
Billy Russell. Ball one. So Lopes triples. Russell takes high up around the peak of the cap. Thurman Munson to the mound. Billy Martin out of the dugout.
That's the most life that I've heard out of the Dodger fans since we've been here, Keith. You notice that? They've been rather complacent the last couple of days.
Should recall, too, though, the other night in Yankee Stadium, Gullett, when he was missing the strike zone, generally was missing it high and away. So the youngster, the farm boy from Kentucky now, got a bow his neck against Bill Russell. First game of the series, Russell tripled off of him to deliver Lopes with the first run of the series. Russell hits it foul out of play, trying to go to right with it, looked like, as he's choked up on his bat. They're giving Bill Russell virtually all of right center field. Jackson is well over toward the right line, and you can see that there's just an enormous amount of space out there.
You know, that's odd, too,
center.
Keith, because the last couple of days he looked like he's been trying to hit the ball to right field, too.
Pitch is outside. It's 2 balls and 1 strike.
The last 2 pitches, they're pitching him away. It's funny that Mickey would be over that far in center field.
Lopes at third. Nobody out. Russell and Gullett dueling here. The count is 2-1. Swing and a miss. It's 2-2.
He is really struggling. Russell is really struggling. He threw his bat a couple times yesterday. This must be the fork ball. The way it goes down like that, it looks like a curveball or a slider, but that's his fork ball. It's been a very effective pitch for Gullett.
Russell is 2 for 18 in the series. Hits the ball to left field, base hit. Davy Lopes canters home. Dodgers lead 1-0. Well, Russell hit that one on the nose.
Right up in his eyes. That's what the Dodgers need to get these 2 little guys going. That guy right there, Davy Lopes. And you'll see Bill Russell. He'll get a high pitch right up in his eyes. There's a good swing at it. See, that's going to help his confidence to know that he's got, you know, get out of that slump. He's got a base hit to lead off the game.
action in the Yankee bullpen very quickly. Martin wants to contain the score.
Dick Tidrow, right-hander. Batter, Reggie Smith, 4 for 14. Russell off first, pitch high and outside. There's Tidrow warming up.
They're very well rested the last 2 games here, complete games by the Yankee starters, Perez and yesterday, Gidry.
Speculation, if they go back to New York, he might get a call Tuesday. I think it'll be Torres. Mickey Rivers is well over in left center. It's off to the right center field gap where Reggie Smith has his room. The count is 1-1 now. And Lou Piniella is deep in left. Billy Martin isn't talking about any Tuesday pitcher, I'll guarantee you that. High fly ball. It's drifting out into foul ground down the right field line. The chase by Willie Randolph slides and falls down, looking up into a burning sun, and almost made the catch.
And remember, since they adjusted the dimensions of this ballpark, as we look at the play again, lots of foul room space. We're isolated on Willie Randolph, who is a speedster, who's grappling with the problem of the sun, and who will not catch the ball and slide into the barrel.
And the count is 1 ball and 2 strikes on Reggie Smith with Bill Russell at first. Dodgers lead 1-0, bottom of the first inning. Triple by Lopes, single by Russell, and Smith fouls it straight back. Count holds at 1-2. Tidrow, Dick Tidrow in the Yankee bullpen. Warming up. Dodgers trying to get after Don Gullett here in the bottom of the first. They tapped him for 2 runs in the opening game at Yankee Stadium. Smith hits it on the ground toward third. Nettles got to hurry. Good play by Greg Nettles, barehanding it.
Boy, that is a super play. Barehanded. Reggie can run. He just made an outstanding play. Number 9 for the Yankees, Greg Nettles. Gets a good charge in on this ball. Got to take it off his right foot. Boom, take it off the right foot, and you take one more step and throw. That's how Brooks Robinson teaches it right there, and it doesn't make it any better than that. That was a great play by Nettles.
And Greg is a great defensive third baseman. It's like Willie Mays said in 1954 when he made the catch and throw on Wirtz. He said it wasn't the catch, it was the throw. And that's about what it was right there.
Now with 1 out and Bill Russell at second base, here is Ron Cey. 3 for 14 with 1 home run. He has knocked in 3. Time call, Cey stepping out on Gullett. Steve Garvey is on deck for Los Angeles. Dodgers with 1 in. Slopes tripled and Russell singled him home. Low. Tom Lasorda exhorting his Dodgers out of the dugout. Martin on the other side. Dick Hauser alongside of him. Low. 2 balls and no strikes to Cey.
It looks like he's throwing a lot of forkballs today so far here in the first inning. The fastballs that he's gotten up, the Dodgers are hitting hard. It looks like he's going with his forkball.
Foul.
That's another high fastball.
He's up above 90 at 91 miles an hour, according to the Jug's gun.
The other 90 was what, about 93, 94?
3-4.
In New York?
Gullett, Guidry, and Torres all in that 93, 94 range in their successful outings against the Dodgers. Two and 1 to Cey. Foul. It's 2 and 2 with 1 out and 1 on and 1 in. That was a 93 mile an hour fastball. The gap defensively in the outfield for Ron Cey, right center. Mickey Rivers a little more shallow in center than are Piniella and Jackson in left and right. Russell off second. And now Gullett breaks the moment. First inning is loaded, isn't it?
Sure is.
Electric. Low. 3 balls, 2 strikes to Ron Cey. Billy Russell has not been venturesome coming off second. Not that big a lead. Now he moves out a little bit. 3 and 2. Swing and a miss. Struck him out. 2 out for the Dodgers.
Batting fifth.
This is a 3-2 pitch, a first base open, and Steve Garvey on deck. You don't know whether you're going to get a fastball or forkball, and it looked like forkball to me. A lot of same action that a curveball or a slider would have, and Cey was right over the top of it.
And Garvey is up now with Russell still at second and 2 down. Garvey, 5 for 16.
Describe how the forkball is held, how it's delivered, Tom.
Well, you just spread your fingers and kind of shove the ball right in between them, and the thumb is used on the bottom of the ball as a guide.
There's one right there.
The amazing thing about Gullett's forkball, is the velocity he gets on it.
Throws it as hard as, I guess, I was talking to Sparky the other day about this. Sparky Anderson, the manager of the Cincinnati Reds. He said Gullett throws the forkball as hard as anybody that he knows that has ever thrown one.
Inside, 1 ball and 1 strike to Steve Garvey.
It's going to be kind of tough getting a picture inside that glove to see what he's throwing. That's why they have that thing, to hide that ball before you release it.
Dusty Baker waiting on deck. 2 out. Garvey, 1-1. 1 run in, Russell at second. Foul, and the bat goes to the Dodger dugout.
Keith, you know, Garvey's got 5 hits in the World Series and still has only 1 RBI, and that RBI coming on the home run that he hit off Sparky Lyle in New York. The reason he's not getting those RBIs, those guys up at the top of the lineup have not been on base for him.
Really amused at Garvey's bat apparently flying into the Dodger dugout.
We haven't had one big dominant hitter getting on base all the time as you do in certain World Series. For instance, in '68, Lou Brock got 13 hits for the Cardinals. In '64, Bobby Richardson got 13 hits for the Yankees. Bobby got 11 in the 1960 World Series, which the Yankees lost to the Bucks in the 7th game. That was the Mazeroski home run game. We haven't had that kind of single hitter yet.
1-2 pitch, Garvey swings and misses and strikes out. So Gullett gets in trouble, but he bears down to Fan, Say, and Garvey. Dodgers settle for 1 run on 2 hits, lead after 1-0.
Greg is done. St. Louis got by Philadelphia.
Now to Chris Chambliss. Strike 1 from Don Sutton. Greg Nettles will follow, then Lou Piniella. 4th man would be Bucky Dent, the Yankee first baseman. Dodgers lead 1-0 here in the top of the 2nd inning. Don Sutton has had so much noise about him. You expect a lot of looking at the baseball if he's successful today. Arguments being that he scuffs it somehow, but nobody knows how, and Sutton loves it because that plants a seed of doubt.
Well, let's talk about a spitter, Keith.
Well, that's all right. Chambliss hits it hard, but right at Lopes. And Davy Lopes throws him out. On June 8th,
number 9.
Don Sutton was thrown out of a game by umpire Bruce Froemming as they got into a big uproar over Froemming's insistent inspection. And they had a few words, and Don was gone. Batter now, Greg Nettles, 2 for 13 in the series. And for the first time today, said that he feels good and fouls that one away. Shoulder has been sore since the scuffle in Kansas City. Hits it toward Garvey. Steve has it. Will do it himself. 2 down. Nettles grounding to the first baseman. Now here comes Lou Piniella, who is 6 for 15. 1 run batted in. And a marvelous play yesterday defensively in left
number
field.
14. Left field, Lou Piniella.
Dick Hauser coaching at third for the Yankees. Bobby Cox at first. Lou Piniella with a .330 average in 1977 on 112 hits. Hits it a mile high to the infield, and Davy Lopes, the second baseman, waves everybody away and makes the catch. And Don Sutton gets the Yankees in order in the top of the 2nd inning. So after 1.5 innings of play, the Dodgers lead the Yankees 1-0.
Well, Barbara Sinatra brought a package lunch for Frank. Frank likes to eat.
I think he stopped and got a hot dog on the way down.
Looks like he's got enough for the whole section there.
There's our friend from Cle Elum. For the Los Angeles Dodgers, in the bottom of the 2nd inning, we will see Dusty Baker, Lee Lacy, and Steve Yeager with the pitcher, the 4th man. Dusty Baker, 3 for 16 with a home run. And the home run accounting for his 3 runs batted in. In the first inning, Tom, Gullett 25 pitches, Sutton 18 pitches in 2 innings.
Gullett threw a lot of pitches in the first inning, and sometimes that's a blessing in disguise if you're a little tight when you go to the mound in the first inning. Sometimes throwing a whole bunch of pitches that first inning can get you loose.
He works now to Baker. All low. Lopes tripled to lead the game, bringing a smile to Tom Lasorda's face as Russell singled him home for the run. Then Russell died at second as Say and Garvey struck out swinging. There's the strike. It's 1-1 to Baker. 93 miles an hour. Ron Guidry in the dugout with Yogi Berra there and the other Yankees. As Baker goes to the right side and is fouled in the crowd. Oh, we almost had somebody fall out of that upper deck. Woo! He reached over that fellow in blue, and I thought for a minute he was gone. A couple of empty seats, too. Somebody must have got hung up, because this is a game you wouldn't want to miss. It's 1-2 to Baker, and it's high, 2-2.
93 miles again. Speed is consistent.
Foul ball. This telecast presented by authority of Major League Baseball, intended solely for the private non-commercial use of our audience. Any publication, reproduction, retransmission, other use of the pictures, descriptions, and accounts of this game without the express written consent of Major League Baseball is prohibited. Don Sutton looks loose, doesn't he?
He really does. Having a ball.
Do the best you can. Some days are better than others. 2-2. High. Full count. 3-2. Dusty Baker, before the ball game, said he slept well last night. The error, surprised he made it, but didn't worry about it. Foul, out of play. Count holds 3-2.
You feel the pressure, Keith. There's no way not to feel it, especially for the Dodgers. You really feel it before the game more than during it. Once the game gets started, you've got some physical activity. There's Mike Torres.
I suspect he might get the call Tuesday night if they have to go back to New York, but Billy Martin says nothing about it. Mike's saying today he feels just fine. He sure looked fine the other night. Fouled up here, just above us.
Get off the floor, Tom.
Lee Lacy waiting on deck for the Dodgers. Yeager to follow. Don Gullett continuing to throw a lot of pitches. Fouled again. I guess Garvey is the only hitter that Gullett's been ahead of, isn't it? Otherwise, he's been even or behind.
Baker is hanging tough. Did that the other day and belted one.
High fly ball. Center field for Mickey Rivers. Got it. One down.
Batting seventh, number 34, right fielder, Lee Lacy.
Downtown Los Angeles on a Sunday. You can call it smog if you like.
What would
Those
you
of us
call
who
it?
live here call it haze. Ocean haze. One out. Nobody on. Lacy playing right field. 2 for 4 in the postseason. Gullett high and away. Lee 1 for 3. On the season, 266. Had 6 home runs. Can play almost anywhere for you. Foul.
We might get a souvenir today, Howard. We're getting quite a few backfires today. Getting some good shots of Thurman Munson behind the plate. We had him on the pregame show directing traffic back there. You can see him give the sign. Now he wants to go inside. Gullett doesn't want it.
Shot, left field, base hit. Lacy hits it sharply through the hole. All Greg Nettles could do was flag at it.
That's the first pitch that they've gone inside in quite a while. Every pitch to Baker was away. Thurman wanted all the pitches to Baker outside. Finally made a good pitch when he popped up to Rivers in center field. It's the first pitch in about 15 pitches that he's gone back inside, and it was a base hit right in the hole.
Now Lacy at first with one out, and Yeager, Steve Yeager, 4 for 14 with a home run. Again, the home run accounting for his only run batted in. We'll have a look at Lacy as he studies Gullett, whether or not he might go. Yeager swings and misses on the forkball, and it's strike one.
Steve is motioning to the umpire back there at second base is in his way. He wasn't motioning at Gullett. Gullett, the left-hander, was coming around there, and the umpire down behind second. The ball was coming right out of him, probably right out of his shirt. Steve wants a clear view of looking over Gullett's shoulder in the center field.
Strike two.
Two forkballs, and both of them have been dandies, too. And hard forkball. It's incredible. I've never seen a forkball thrown that hard. He really gets it up there.
Don Sutton in the on-deck circle with one out, one on. Lacy 0 for 4 in stolen bases in 77, but he does have speed. Ball is hit to right, short right. It will be the second baseman, Randolph, as it hangs there, and he goes just in behind first base on the line to make the catch. 2 down.
Batting ninth, number 20, pitcher Don Sutton.
Here comes Don Sutton to the plate now with Lacy at first and 2 down. Dodgers are leading 1-0. Lopes tripled, Russell singled him home. Dodgers have 3 hits. The Yankees have 1. Bottom of the second inning. The Yankees lead the series 3 games to 1. Must time for the Dodgers. And there is a fastball strike. 93 miles an hour.
He is tough on that corner out there. He's been hitting that corner very well, just off it. Thurman wants to keep the ball away.
Lacy at first with 2 out. Strike 2. The umpire with the big voice back of the plate, Jim Evans, American League. His first World Series, as a matter of fact. Swing and a miss, and the Dodgers are gone. They get a single from Lacy, can't move him around. After 2 complete innings of play, Los Angeles 1, New York 0. You can see by these numbers that most of the scoring in this World Series has been done in the early innings. And the run posted by Los Angeles to lead 1-0 gives them the slight edge in the total runs scored, 15-14. Now it is Bucky Dent, the Yankee shortstop, Don Gullett, the pitcher, the top of the order, Mickey Rivers. Bucky Dent with a chance to get his first World Series ring here. Says it'll mean more than anything else because that he'll keep forever. Ball 1 as Sutton curved him outside. Bucky with 5 hits and 13 trips to the plate, and Sutton's fastball is outside for ball 2. Don giving a single to Thurman Munson, the only Yankee to reach base. That's foul. In front of a breaking pitch to make the count now 2-1.
Bucky's been tough in the series. 5 for 13. Got a big hit yesterday. Knocked in the 3rd Yankee run.
Up the middle. Reggie Smith. There. Ball hit well, but on a line to Smith. 1 down.
Batting ninth, number 35, pitcher.
Here's Don Gullett up for the first time today, as Don Sutton now has retired 5 Yankees in a row after Munson's single. For the sake of your information for the future, in case it turns out to be a burgeoning community, Maloneton, Kentucky, population currently 146. That's a big town, considering the fact where Gullett came from originally. Lynn, Kentucky, where he was born, they had 67 folks in Lynn. Ball 1 the count to Gullett. 1-1. Sounds like my kind of town. Fouled, out of play. The count is 1-2. Sacrificed twice in the opening game. 0 for 1 after the 2 sacrifices in 8 1/3 innings in which he was in the ball game. That's beat foul at the plate, and the count will continue 1-2. Another shirt sleeve day in Los Angeles. Howard munching away on a picnic lunch. Good.
Barbara Sinatra sent it up.
1-2 count on the Yankee pitcher. Got him. 2 down.
So he begins second time around on the Yankee lineup, does Mr. Sutton. Look at that pitch.
Rolled off the table, didn't it?
All he's allowed is a bloop single to center by Thurman Munson.
Don has had some trouble this past summer with his curveball sliding or sailing on him, hanging up in there, and a lot of people have jumped on it. That one went right down off the table, the way he wants it. Mickey Rivers, 4 for 20. Swings and misses.
He's got an unusual grip for his curveball. He puts their say at third base, sneaking up on Mickey Rivers. Puts the fingernail of his index finger into the ball.
Hit toward Davy Lopes at second base. Throws him out, and Sutton gets the Yankees in order for the second straight inning after 2.5 innings of play at Dodger Stadium. Los Angeles 1, New York 0. Davy Lopes had a triple and scored the only run of the ball game.
That Washington 6-0 lead over Dallas is surprising, but Dallas is explosive.
Up the middle it goes on a line. Mickey Rivers got to back up a little bit and flags it, and he almost let it get away from him.
He really did. Once again, Lopes hits a ball that carries further than the outfielder thought it would.
Difficult sun, high sky, and a bright sun in the outfield at all positions. As the day wears on, right field becomes more difficult.
Well, we're going to have a little timeout on the field here.
They play beach ball in the stands, and that thing has come all the way from down the left field line, and it finally escaped and got out, and I'm afraid they've lost it.
If the pitcher has a bad game, you'll say that his fastball look about that big to the hitters.
That's right. Oh, to throw that back up for a long time out. Bill Russell fouls the pitch to the screen. Strike 1. Don Gullett. Russell to Dent. Got a good bounce and throws him out. Nice play by Bucky Dent, going well to his left.
He got rid of that ball awfully nicely, which was left very well.
ABC's Monday Night Football, Cincinnati Bengals and the Pittsburgh Steelers, tomorrow night, 9 Eastern Time, 6 Pacific, 8 Central. And that's another put-up game, isn't it, in that contest between Cincinnati and Pittsburgh.
That's a brutal division, that Central Division of the American Football Conference. Cleveland, with its rebuilt team, so tough. Pittsburgh, Houston can give it to you.
Reggie Smith swings and misses and has a count of 2 strikes.
And Cincinnati has the personnel to be a powerhouse, despite 2 early season setbacks by the Browns and the Chargers.
1 ball and 2 strikes. Ball blocked by Thurman Munson. keep hammering on an old point, but it is a vital point, I think, insofar as Reggie Smith is concerned. He represents less power as a right-handed batter. 1-2 with 2 out and nobody on in the Dodger half of the 3rd inning. Pitch is out off the plate. Outside, it's 2-2. Sort of a quiet moment in this ball game. Sort of like waiting for the fuse to burn on down. 2-2. Check swing roller past Gullett. Bucky Dent got him. Don Gullett's all right. Bounced on his tummy, comes up, he's okay. Score after 3 innings of play. Dodgers 1, Yankees nothing. Willie Randolph, Thurman Munson, Reggie Jackson for the Yankees in the top of the 4th inning, a ball game that is sailing along. Randolph checks on a breaking pitch outside. Sutton has allowed New York 1 hit through 3 innings. The Dodgers have 1 run on 3 hits. Randolph, fly ball to center field, first time up. That pitch is just low. 2 balls, no strikes. In the game so far, Yankees have not been able to get the leadoff man aboard. The only hit by Thurman Munson after 2 were out in the top of the 1st inning. That ball is stroked to center, but Reggie Smith had him well played, and you've got 1 out.
Thurman Munson. Catcher.
Now here comes the Yankee captain and catcher.
There's the history we talked about in the pregame show, the magnitude of the Dodgers' task. The Dodgers have history going against them. Just 3 times has the team come in a 7-game World Series from a deficit of 3 games to 1 to win it.
Might point out for Thurman Munson that he has played in 9 World Series games, and he has hit safely in all of them. In the 1976 series against Cincinnati, 529, had 9 singles. Pitch from Sutton is upstairs. Ball 1.
Old Scrap Iron is just a player. You can't get him out of there. He does have the tender leg you talked about. If he had his druthers, he'd be home in Canton, Ohio, and in bed, resting.
Reggie Jackson on deck. Hit on the ground to Bill Russell at shortstop. Pounded right on down that line and took a hard slam on the first base bag with a sore right leg. Made Russell throw the ball. 2 out.
Sutton is just breezing, Tom. Just breezing.
He's breezing, and he's been behind the hitters, too. He was behind Munson, 1 ball, no strike. Behind Randolph, 2-0. He was behind Bucky Dent. He comes back and gets easy outs, even though he's behind in the count, and that's unusual. You can't keep doing that against good hitters. It's going to catch up with you. You got to stay ahead of your hitters. We made that point in the first game.
Got to come inside to Jackson. He does, but he's high.
Ball 1 again. Sooner or later, it catches up with you. You just can't do it on the major league level. Continually pitch behind hitters.
Swing and a miss. It's 1-1. Reggie, musing in a moment of quiet, says that he will donate half of his World Series share to a worthy cause in New York City. Did not define it. Half of it will go to charity. Swing and a miss. He was late on it. 1-2.
They're throwing the ball right by him.
That's what he said in the pregame show. That fastball, high and tight.
Hard stuff up and in. Reggie put some show on in batting practice. He must have hit 15, 20 balls into that pavilion in right field. That's the fastball that he doesn't get around on. That's the pitch that Rick Rhoden didn't throw yesterday. Rhoden gave him a breaking ball, and boom, there it is. I was talking to Steve Yeager this morning, and he said that Rhoden, he called for a fastball. Rhoden shook him off, gave him a couple brushes on the pant leg, went right to the curveball before he could. Steve wanted to call timeout. He didn't want that pitch.
Broke his bat. Short right field. Lacey gets there. And Sutton retires the Yankees in order for a 3rd successive inning. After 3.5 innings of play, Dodgers 1-0. Dodger dugout, Tom Lasorda and Tommy John were standing there for a moment or two visiting. John with his arm around Tom's shoulder. Even though they're backed up against the wall, there doesn't appear to be all that much anxiety through the ranks. They're just going to do the best you can and be done with it.
I remarked the other night, they're a curious ball club in face of the fact that they seem so placid of temperament, passionless.
Very quiet in the clubhouse. I was down there this morning talking to Yeager and a few of the guys. Very quiet in there, you know. Once the game gets started, it's just, you know, you have a place to release your tensions.
Ron Say leading off, swings and misses. For strike one, Steve Garvey to follow, and then Dusty Baker.
The Yankees are never placid.
Maybe that's what makes them go. Maybe they can't play if they don't have that controversy.
Ooh.
Maybe Jackson can.
That's one of the few times that Gullett has gone back inside. Now, last time he did it was to Lee Lacy. He gave up a base hit, and this time he goes in off the plate. He comes in off the plate with a fastball. Move Ron Say out of there. Probably go right back outside now.
Moved him emphatically. 94 miles an hour fastball, I guarantee you Say was moving. It's 1-1. Dodgers leading 1-0. Batting in the bottom of the fourth inning. Gullett taking a long time to look at Munson and Billy Martin.
Little gamesmanship going on between the mound and Thurman and the guy in the batter's box, Ron Say, right now.
Missed outside with that forkball, and it's 2 balls, 1 strike.
The intensity of Martin is always registered in his face. There's a report, I don't know how true it is, that Time Magazine's coming out with a story tomorrow.
Outside corner, fastball 2-2.
Story to the effect that Reggie Jackson, after the series, will announce that he'll not play another year under Billy Martin as manager. The two were left kissing yesterday.
Yeah, maybe he said that before yesterday's game. You know, it changes every other, you know, about every 3 days. We got a new story coming out of that clubhouse.
Emotions of a transitory.
3-2 the count now on the batter, Ron Say. The Dodgers with a 1-0 lead. Gullett trying to get the leadoff man for the Dodgers, Say. Leading off, cleanup hitter actually, but leading off this inning, and Ron fouls it away into the crowd. And somebody booted it.
Dodgers looking to build up this 1-run lead, of course. The Yankees desperate to contain it to 1 run because they've been able to do nothing with Sutton, who's allowed but 1 hit, a blooper to center in the first inning by Thurman Munson. Sutton, by the way, as you know, Keith, has 5 career 1-hit games, placing him in pretty special company with Mordecai Brown, Grover Cleveland Alexander, and Jim Maloney.
Never the no-no, though. 3-2. High fly ball, left field, Piniella going to the corner. He's got room, just barely.
Oh, boy.
You know, there's this disgruntled Ronnie Say right there. He got robbed yesterday by Piniella. That time he got just a little bit. He got jammed. Didn't quite hit it. That's the shortest part of this ballpark to hit the ball. He hit the ball good yesterday. Single, double, and got robbed of a home run.
Steve Garvey now comes to the plate. Up in Lindsay, California, school officials named a junior high school after Steve Garvey.
It happened to him early on.
Some 400 students and adults involved in that decision. High. And the superintendent, Gordon Bishop, said, "We wanted a famous enough person who would be as thrilled as we are about it, and we like what Garvey represents." Steve beats it foul.
What was it Red Barber once said? It's nice to smell the flowers while the scent is there.
Did Red say that?
He did.
Well, he traveled a high road in his lifetime and was a great craftsman. 1 ball and 1 strike. 1 out and nobody on of the Dodgers. And it's still almost one of those things you could call a white knuckler, just kind of waiting. As Gullett misses outside, 2-1. Preston Gomez coaching at third for Los Angeles. And over at first it is Jim Gilliam. Garvey swings and misses. It's 2-2 on him, and Garvey struck out against Gullett to end the first inning.
This is the bottom of the 4th only. Gullett's already thrown, I bet, close to 70 pitches. He started the inning with 53. Went to 3-2 with Ron Say. Now 3-2 here. He's thrown a lot of pitches, Keith.
Dick Tidrow was up in the first inning in the Yankee pen, but since that time has sat down. 65 pitches, Tom. For Gullett so far. It was 77 degrees as we started the ball game. Not a cloud anywhere. On the fists, foul back. Here's the 3-2 pitch to Garvey. Baker waiting. Strokes it to right center field. Jackson a long way to go, can't get it. It'll go through to the wall. Bangs off the wall. Garvey will go into second standing with a double. Base hit number 4.
That's a typical Steve Garvey hit.
Right.
The Dodger fans coming to life here at Dodger Stadium.
Beautiful thing to watch Garvey stroke the ball with that kind of power to the opposite field.
You go right where the pitch. He's got exceptional power to the right center field alley. There he goes. He can hit the ball out that way. There's no question he's got the base hit. They're playing Steve DePaul a little bit in center field, but he's got excellent power out there to right center.
Reggie played it well on the first ricochet, and his strong throw. Garvey standing at second, double. One out. Here is Dusty Baker. And a fly ball to center field. His first time up. Strike on the inside corner. Fastball, forkball for Don Gullett. Looked like Garvey hit the fastball.
Now, there's something interesting going on here. Baker led off the second inning. Flew out to center field. Every pitch they threw to Baker was outside. Now they've got a man in scoring position. The last two pitches have been inside. Sometimes you pitch to a hitter one way with nobody in scoring position. There's Garvey at second base. Other times with a man in scoring position, you do something else. Now they go back outside.
Pitch almost got away from him.
2 balls, 1 strike. The count on Dusty Baker. How much information could Garvey pass to Baker from second base?
Depends on whether Dusty wants it or not. There are a lot of hitters that will not want to know the pitch at home plate. Other hitters will. Garvey could give him a sign. He could tug at his shirt, tug at his belt, let him know if he's got a pitch.
Shot left field, base hit. Garvey pumping around. Preston Gomez sending him to the plate. Manila drops the ball in left field. Dusty Baker dives at second. He's safe. Baker under a full head of steam. Going around first and heading for second, and when Piniella dropped the ball, Dusty went in on his stomach safely.
Watch closely.
A single and an error.
Now watch this. Great slide by Baker. Looked like he was going to be out. But Dusty coming in on his stomach. Got the hand in there first.
He got there all right.
Clearly a good call by the umpire. Great slide.
Is up in the Yankee bullpen. Lacey is at the plate for the Dodgers. 2-0 Los Angeles. Outside corner. Tidrow was up in the first inning. Now he's working again in the bottom of the 4th.
Tom, you talk about catching up with a pitcher. With the number of pitches Gullett's thrown this early in the game, it was inevitable.
Late on it. 2 strikes. Forkball, he went down fishing for it and couldn't find it. That is the first error by the Yankees in the World Series. Each team now with 1, and left fielders accounted for both.
And one of the great things about the World Series is the type of defensive play we've had. It hasn't been a sloppy World Series at all, just the 2 errors.
Bunsen setting up outside to Lacey. Gullett misses. It's 1 ball, 2 strikes. Dodgers with single runs in the bottom of the 1st, and now here in the bottom of the 4th. The lead 2-0. One out. Lacy pulls it toward the hole. Neville can't handle it. No, he picks it up and there's no play. Baker at third.
So this Yankee defense, which hadn't made a single error of commission in the entire series going into today, and that's been one of the high points in the series, that Yankee defense, suddenly 2 errors in a row. One by Piniella in left field, and now one by the usually impeccable Nettles.
Baker was on his way to third, thought better of it, couldn't see the ball as it skittered behind Nettle apparently, and then had to get on back to second base. Now you see Dusty sitting up there. Now loses sight of the ball for just a moment. And Greg blocking it. And so the Dodgers now with 1 out have runners at first and at second. The error was on the third baseman, Neville.
Ball bounced up at Greg. Here comes Billy Martin running out to talk with Gullett. Gullett walking toward Martin.
Steve Yeager, the Dodger catcher, is the batter. Kidrow is in the Yankee bullpen, and I must pay homage to our producer Chuck Howard, Jet 40, our director, and our fine corps of cameramen, because they have done an outstanding job in documenting and providing the replays throughout the series.
Chief Gullett has really thrown an incredible number of pitches. He stays in the ball game. Billy comes trotting off. Munson's coming back to position. He's thrown 78 pitches, 25 in this inning alone. We're only in the 4th inning.
1 ball, no strike count on the Dodger catcher Yeager now. Baker at second. Lacy at first. Yeager swings and misses, make it 1-1.
Yet he hummed that ball, Tom. The speed is still there.
Still throwing well. He's only thrown 78. It just is a matter of, you take this average out, how many he would throw through 7 or 8 innings. It'd be incredible. He'd be up toward 150, 160 pitches.
1-1 to Yeager. Low, 2-1. Sutton, the pitcher, on deck. Dusty Baker at second base. Lee Lacy at first base. The Yankees have committed 2 errors in this inning. The first 2 for them. Ball is hit well to left.
Goodbye.
Way back there.
So the long-awaited explosion by the Dodgers in their home ballpark. And look at those fans.
Home run, and the Dodgers lead now 5-0.
Gullett, who's thrown a lot of pitches, the ball's right down in the middle of the plate, the same kind of pitch he threw to Dusty Baker, and there's no doubt about that one. That one was way back there. Over hitting those seats who went into the bullpen, just in that last edge of seats before the bullpen started.
Crowd is standing, wanting Baker to come up out of the dugout.
They want Steve Yeager out of there.
And Yeager gave him away.
Yeager's putting his gear on. There's Gary Grody.
That was the...
Yakking with Steve Yeager.
That was the big roar you heard. Steve gave him away. There he is. Now he comes down. Look at that.
That's become something of a tradition throughout baseball. This season, it's been happening a number of times. So with a 5-0 lead, the Los Angeles Dodger pitcher, Don Sutton, is at the plate with a count of 2 strikes.
He's got to be feeling pretty good, Mr. Sutton. You spent a lot of years never getting a 5-run lead, Tom.
Don is gone in a hurry. That's 2 out, and we'll have the top of the order, Davy Lopes. Davy Lopes in the ball game has tripled and scored a run. Hit a liner to Mickey Rivers in center field. First time in the series, the Dodgers have generated offense in the middle innings. There's a strike from Don Gullett. But again, it was Baker and Lacey and then Yeager. Boom. And Garvey. And Lopes singles it up the middle. Rivers plays it in, and Baby Lopes is now 2 for 3 in the ball game, and they are tattooing Don Gullett.
He's 2 for 3, but Davey hit the ball hard all 3 times. Billy Martin squinting out toward the field, making no move at this point.
Kidrow in the New York bullpen. Satisfied Tom Lasorda. 5-0 Dodgers with 2 out, nobody on, and I beg your pardon, Davy Lopes on at first, and Bill Russell up there, who singled Lopes home at the first run of the ball game and then grounded out to short his second time. One and one.
Stevie Yeager.
His second home run of the World Series.
Big, strong Dodger catcher had dinner last night with Thurman Munson. 2 catchers.
Hit back to the pitcher, Gullett. He throws out Russell. It is a big inning for the Los Angeles Dodgers. 4 runs across to lead 5-0 after 4 complete innings.
Don Gullett, not a happy young man at this moment. First pitch to Chambliss. Ball.
Don Sutton to Chris Chambliss, then Greg Nettles and Lou Piniella with Bucky Dent, the 4th man. Sutton with a 1-hitter. Through 4 innings, we're now in the top of the 5th. There it is a 2-hitter as Chambliss singles sharply to right field.
He got that ball up.
Well, I want to reiterate what I said last inning, that you can't pitch behind to these guys. You get behind them 1-0, 2-0, and they can sit on a pitch, and if they get the pitch, that's exactly what's going to happen. Even if you do make a good pitch, if the hitter is ahead of you in the count, you're not going to be as effective as a pitcher.
Sutton had retired 10 Yankees in a row. First time in the ball game that New York has had the leadoff man on. The batter now, Greg Nettles. Grounded to the first baseman, Garvey, first time up. High and away, ball 1. Crowd today, 55,955. The total attendance then for the 5 games, 281,319. Pitches outside and high for ball 2.
So he's behind again, as Tom Seaver has pointed out. One of the reasons probably Billy Martin stayed with Gullett the way he did was the fact that the Yankee defense, for the first time in the series, contributed to the Dodger attack.
High to right center. Outfielders, it is Reggie Smith finding it up in the bright sky and making the catch for out number 1. The players' pool based on the first 3 games of the League Championship Series and the first 4 games of the World Series, as you see the numbers on today's pitchers, the richest in World Series history, $2,425,000 plus. So the players' share will be handsome. Lou Piniella now with 1 out and Chris Chambliss at first base. As you see, has hit safely in all of the postseason games, and there's a breaking pitch for strike 1. And Sutton's curveball today, Tom, is sharp.
He's got a very good curveball today. He's had a couple of outs on changeup. He's got an outstanding changeup. This Dodger organization is very good at teaching its young pitchers changeups.
That one is high. It's 1 ball and 1 strike.
Don will throw just about any pitch in the book if you want him to throw it. He really has an ability to just pick up a new pitch and start throwing it. He really, most of the time, will stay with the basic pitches of fastball, slider, curveball, and changeup.
Chambliss off first. The pitch is low inside to Piniella, and once again, Sutton falls behind at 2-1.
He's been behind every hitter in this inning. Nettles had a good swing at that ball, but he popped up to center field. That's the kind you go back and say, I just missed it.
Fouled away into the crowd behind the plate.
That was a good cut by Piniella there.
Piniella has had the opportunity to watch the bulk of the damage done by the Yankees with the Dodger long ball in his territory, too. The only other homer was the one that Reggie Smith hit in New York to right center. Rest of them have been down there in left. Foul, straight back. Count is 2-2 with one out, and Chris Chambliss on first base. Chris getting the second hit of the ball game for New York. Bucky Dent is on deck. Hits it on the ground. It is foul at the plate.
That area right down there around home plate is 96% clay, Keith. The composition is very firm right around home plate. In the batter's box, the mound is 96% clay. And that clay will run about 1.5 feet out in front of home base. So if a hitter hits the ball directly down into the ground right in front of home base, you're going to see a big high bouncer. You get a lot of infield hits that way.
Held on it. Yeager asked for help at first base. John McSherry says no to him.
You see the red composition in the dirt all the way around the ballpark. It's a mixture of sand and crushed brick and clay. Gives it a very lovely red texture. It goes very nicely with the green, the natural green grass here. Beautiful ballpark.
3 balls and 2 strikes now to Lou Piniella. Chambliss edges off first. There he goes. Hit on the ground to the third baseman, Ron Cey. Looks at second, no play there. Goes to first, Piniella's out, 2 down. Chambliss at second as Bucky Dent comes to the plate for the Yankees. Dodgers leading 5-0. Yankees batting top of the 5th.
They don't have anybody throwing down in the bullpen, but I'm sure they would hit for Don Gullett if Dent's to get on.
Chambliss, the first Yankee to get to second base today. That's a strike to Dent. Gullett comes to the on-deck circle. Ball is hit to left. Baker there. Almost overran it, but he flagged it. Yankees get a base hit. They're second of the ball game. Can't move him around. Dodgers lead 5-0, middle of the 5th inning. Here's a look at one of those plays that Dusty Baker, in this particular instance, is so thankful that it didn't quite work out to the disadvantage of him. You see him coming in, and then he has to reach well up to flag down that shot hit by Bucky Dent.
Again, like he was playing in the NFL, didn't he?
Yeah. Well, again, it's a case of the carry on the ball here.
Reggie Smith, Ron Cey, Steve Garvey for Los Angeles against Don Gullett. And Reggie Smith today has grounded to third, grounded out to short, 0 for 2. Dodgers lead 5-0, batting in the bottom of the 5th inning. Foul. Don Sutton has been dominant. He's allowed 2 singles, one by Munson, one by Chambliss. The big blow in the ball game, 3-run homer by Steve Yeager. Yankees having committed 2 errors in the bottom of the 4th inning. One of the runs unearned, the other 4 earned.
One of the reasons that Gullett has arm problems, I believe, he throws on such a stiff leg. There's the bullpen, Kenny Clay in the Yankee bullpen.
Outstanding the other night in New York.
Yes, he was. You watch Gullett, he pitches with very stiff legs, the bottom half of his body. He gets no resiliency whatsoever from his legs, and he throws almost totally with his arm and throws almost across his body. Meaning that he gets his right leg over in front of his left leg.
2-2 pitch is fouled away.
How does that compare with your new motion as described by Johnny Bench, Tom?
Only slightly different. Here's the slow-mo of him. You'll see him. You watch his legs, and as he plants his right leg, comes down. It's very stiff down below. Boom. It's almost like a catapult. He whips that arm around, and if your legs don't absorb some of the pressure of pitching, it's got to go someplace, and it'll be accumulated in your shoulder or your elbow. That's where you come up with arm problems.
And he's had it. 3-2 now to Reggie Smith, playing center field for the Los Angeles Dodgers.
working.
Phones are ringing. Yogi Berra talking to the bullpen, probably right there.
Thrown 96 pitches so far. This is going to be his last inning. You get on the phone to the bullpen to get somebody else out. Up in the bullpen. Billy would like him to get out of this inning without having to use somebody else, because obviously he's going to pinch hit for him. Gullett is the leadoff hitter for the Yankees in the top of the sixth.
He's only walked one man today.
He's been at 3-2 a lot, though.
Yes, he has.
He's really been
Thrown enough pitches for a ball game.
Ron Say takes high and outside. Ball one. Steve Garvey to the on-deck circle. Lee Lacy then to follow. Starting with Garvey, then Baker, Lacy, and Yeager. They're the people who did the damage in the bottom of the fourth inning. Time call. Something on the field behind the mound.
It looks like a golf ball. Somebody either threw it or somebody really hit one wild off the tee someplace.
Billy Martin coming out of the dugout. As time was called there, he's going to exercise it.
He's walking this time.
Like
looking at the bullpen. Yeah, he's not getting out there for discussion, it doesn't look like.
Ken Clay was in the pen. Pit row having warmed up earlier. There's Clay, young right-hander.
Tough game for the Yankees. The end of yesterday's game, the whole city was a morgue, not just the ballpark. Dodgers were completely at bay. Now, once again, Martin goes out, talks to him, but elects not to take him out. Trots back.
Preston Gomez had gone to the dugout. I don't know for a drink of water or for conversation, but he'd been in the dugout during the timeout. He's now back in the third base coaching box. With a count of ball one on Ron Say. Steve Garvey on deck and Reggie Smith on first, having walked there.
We might have a little something going on here, too. Yes, sir, there it is.
Smith going, ball hit to right. Reggie Jackson chasing it, gloves it, and Smith has to hustle to get back to first base.
Good play, good hustle by Reggie Jackson.
There was some white showing when he flagged it down, however.
He's had his adventures out in right field this year.
Tough play, looking right up into the sun. Steve Garvey now, who doubled and scored, was at the top end of the four-run outburst by the Dodgers in the bottom of the fourth inning.
His double to right center set it off. Baker shot one down the left field foul line. Pinella, with an error, played a single into a single plus an extra base.
Ball is hit to right. That's going to fall for a base hit. Reggie Smith heading around second, going to third. Reggie Jackson's throw, good strong throw. Comes back into Randolph, and Reggie Smith stops at third.
Single good a right-hand hitter hitting the right field, as you will see in the big leagues. He did it again. Hits the ball where it's pitched. Out comes Martin. This is it. But Don Gullett.
He just simply goes to right field. He probably had his mind made up before the day began that he was going to try and take Don Gullett to right field. A lot of good hitters will do that, especially when the ball club is having trouble getting base hits, as the Dodgers have been the last couple of games. Reggie made good hustle, got over behind that ball, made a good strong throw, kept Reggie Smith at third.
So Don Gullett is gone from the ball game after throwing 99 pitches, 5 runs, scored against him. Time is out. The preceding a message on behalf of Major League Baseball. Now Ken Clay. He is on with Mike Torres up in the bullpen for New York. Clay, in game number 2, pitched 3 innings of hitless baseball. He walked 1 for the Yankees. So the youngster, at 23 years of age, gets a chance. From Lynchburg, Virginia, his second World Series appearance. And Dusty Baker at bat for the Dodgers fouls it up into the club level.
There's Mike Torres working out. What do you make of that, Tom?
He's probably tuning up, getting ready for the start at the pitch in New York. He's got to throw some time in between starts.
That's what it must be. Could be nothing else.
Baker fouls it off. It'll probably be Torres against Bert Putin, who became the first pitcher in this World Series to go the distance, getting the split for the Dodgers in Yankee Stadium. The season totals on Ken Clay. Right now, the Los Angeles Dodgers have Reggie Smith over at third base with 1 out, Steve Garvey at first base. The Dodgers 27 times this season batted around, sending 8 hitters to the plate or more. They've been accustomed to having some big rallies. That pitch is high and away. 93 for young Clay.
Well, he's a hard thrower. I mentioned the other day, he was regarded as at least as good a prospect as Ossie of the Red Sox in the International League.
1-2 pitch to Baker. Hit sharply in the hole. Flag down by Bent. No play on it. Smith scores. 6-0 Dodgers. Base hit for Baker.
So the Dodgers are really pouring it on the Yankees today. Their backs to the wall, down 3 games to 1. They're trying to make sure right here in the middle innings that they cement this ball game. And they appear to be in the process of doing just that. The lead is now 6-0.
With Steve Garvey at second base, Dusty Baker at first base, Lee Lacy the batter. High and away. Ball 1. Lacy has a single, got aboard on an error, was on base when Yeager hit the 3-run home run. Lacy goes to the right side with it, into the crowd, foul. Ken Clay touched for 6 home runs during the regular season on his record of 2 and 3. Lacy takes low.
This record's a little misleading. They brought him up. He was used in a game against the Red Sox. He was most impressive. And then, again, as I mentioned the other day, he was sidetracked, much in the manner of Ken Holtzman. Yankees were playing as if, for a time, they had only 23 players.
Center field, that should produce another run as Steve Garvey turns at third and comes to the plate. Dusty Baker stops at third. It is 7-0 Dodgers.
Well, I don't know what Tommy Lasorda told his ball club before the game. They said they had that 10-minute meeting with him. Whatever he did, it must have worked. They've really come out smoking today. 10 hits and 7 runs already.
Putting it all together, the Yankee pitching, which had been the dominant factor in the series up till now, crumbling.
Now it is Steve Yeager, who had the 3-run home run in the bottom of the 4th. Up here in the bottom of the 5th. 2 Dodgers aboard. Baker at third, Lacy at first. Yeager fouls it back in the crowd.
You notice how they're trying to go to right field? Garvey went that way. Lacy went that way. Hitting the ball in the opposite field. Maybe that's what he told them. Don't be swinging for the fences in there.
Well, yesterday, when Baker hit one to right, that was the first time a Dodger batter had ridden the ball where it was pitched.
Garvey's gone over there twice already. The last base hit was the same place.
That's a strike on Yeager, and it's 2 strikes now on the Dodger catcher. But 0-2.
But for Garvey, that's almost the usual thing to do. Lacy's perhaps a different night. I love the way Lacy swings, by the way, Tom.
Good player.
There's Thurman. You see Thurman giving directions. It's all, a lot of that is just a plain facade. Might be one thing he does that means something.
Again to right, but again foul. 1 out. Dusty Baker at third. 2 runs across.
Much of it might be is that the Yankee pitchers have been pitching away so much that They've just resigned themselves and know that they're going to get the outside pitch. Just go ahead and go right with it. Try and hit it down the line and hit it up the alley.
Lacy off first, Baker off third. Yeager hits it out into left center, and it is Mickey Rivers to make the catch. Baker tags, trots home. Dodgers lead 8-0. Yeager with 4 runs batted in today as Baker scores on that sacrifice fly to Mickey Rivers in left center field. The batter will now be Don Sutton.
Yeager's like Garvey coming into the game. They both had 1 home run, yet each of them only had 1 RBI.
With 2 out, a strike to Sutton. Lacy on first base. Beats it over the pitcher's head. Willie Randolph has a play. Sutton jogging along toward first and want to get all heated up. Dodgers jumping out to a big lead. 3 more runs. Lead now 8-0. Now some defensive changes for the Los Angeles Dodgers. Glenn Burke, number 3, is now in center field. Reggie Smith has now moved over to his more normal position, right field, and Lee Lacy is out of the lineup. There's Reggie in right, and that's the tough Sun field right now. Batting for the Yankee pitcher Clay, George Zeber.
I must say there's been nothing wrong with Smith's playing center field, although he's played there only once before this year. He had played the position in Boston, and he looked quite at home in it, Tom.
Reggie's an outstanding athlete. Switch hitter, strong. There's the Yankee bullpen. Tidwell warming up.
He'll be next as Sutton delivers, and it's fouled away by Zeber. The count is 1-1. With an 8-0 lead, Don Sutton now is in the position where he can quit being too fine. Bring it in.
Just lay it in there. Let them hit. Huge lead.
Foul ball.
The point is that when you're at 8-0 like this as a pitcher, is that base on balls will kill you. What you do is not really, you don't exactly just lay it in there. What you do is you come off the corners. You don't back off, throw the ball any less hard than you normally would, but you won't be as fine. You won't try and lay the ball on the corner as much. You'll come in toward the center of the plate and get ahead of your hitters. That's the main thing that Don should be working on, getting ahead of his hitters.
George Zeber leading off, to be followed by Mickey Rivers and Willie Randolph. And the youngster fouls another one back in the crowd. It's 1-2. Nothing Los Angeles. Sutton allowed only 2 hits so far. He comes high with that pitch, and it's 2-2. He keeps throwing it high and keeps falling behind. He's bound to get a visit pretty soon from Red Adams, perhaps even Tom Lasorda. Struck him out.
He wasn't trying to be too fine with that one. Blasted it in there.
That's as good a fastball looked like he's had all day long.
1 down for Mickey Rivers. Nobody on. Rivers has grounded to Davy Lopes at second base twice.
Yankees are going to have to start fighting with one another again. Too much harmony.
They got a plane ride home.
Yeah, maybe that'll do it.
Sutton missing with a breaking pitch to Rivers. Fouled off. It's 1-1. They're giving the folks in the upper deck some action today. Breaking pitch bounces in front of the plate to make it 2-1. 2-1 to Rivers. Fly ball, center field. Glenn Burke looking for it. As you can see, he took a moment before he found it. Now you see him signal to Dusty Baker, huh? It's tough.
Dodgers got some action today from Lopes and Russell. Yeager did get the big hit, but the top two brought the Dodgers to life. The Yankees, Rivers has not gotten on. Neither has Randolph.
With 2 out, Willie is up 0 for 2. In the 6th inning, or in the 4th inning, he hit the ball with authority, but right at Reggie Smith. Strike 1.
The Yanks are a corporate enterprise run by Steinbrenner and Gabe Paul, and they're already planning for next season.
Inside.
Last night, Gabe Paul had dinner with Brad Corbett, the owner of the Texas Rangers. Later met with Bud Selig of the Milwaukee Brewers. Knowing Gabe, something's brewing.
Ball is hit well to right center field. Reggie Smith and Glenn Burke going. It drops. Run together. Throw comes in, and Willie Randolph stands at second base. Number 3 in the hit column for the Yankees against Sutton.
Looks like they're taking the Dodger tactics and hitting the ball the other way. A fastball right down the middle of the plate, right about shoulder high. Rivers, the hitter before Randolph, swung at 2 pitches out of the strike zone, and that looked like an American League strike. Randolph jumped right on it.
That is also the second Yankee runner to get to second base in the ball game. 2 out now for Thurman Munson. Had a single in the 1st inning, grounded to short 2nd time. 55,955, and the bulk of them very happy as the Dodgers sit on an 8-0 lead. Down 3 games to 1. They have brought the thunder and lightning with them today. Chasing Sutton. Play's gone. Tidrow figures to be the 3rd Yankee pitcher. Ball 1 to Munson. Yeager throws it through. Randolph slides back in at second. Looking in from left field. Right field. Is that 8? That'll be right field. Munson. Fly ball. Center field. Glenn Burke. Davy Lopes. It's Lopes. Dick Tidrow with a record of 11-4 on the season in game number 2. Tidrow, with 2 2/3 innings, allowed 3 hits and no runs, struck out 1, his 2nd appearance, his 2nd World Series. Obviously, he was involved last year. He'll be pitching to the top of the order. Davy Lopes, Bill Russell, and Reggie Smith. The Dodgers lead 8-0. They bat now in the bottom of the 6th inning. Lopes takes a curveball, sharp one for strike 1. Davy has tripled, line to center, and singled. Scored the first run of the game. Check swing roller. Pitcher gloves it. Tidrow guns it and gets it.
Good play by Tidrow. If you wanted a measure of how good this Dodger team is and how they won the pennant the way they did in the playoff series against Philadelphia, their performance today bespeaks the fact. This is a team that was on the ropes, and they're having a field day with the Yankees. Instead of folding up and collapsing, they've come to the fore. Tomorrow night, of course, ABC's NFL Monday Night Football, 2 of the powerhouse teams of the league, Bengals against the Steelers. Week after, we're back here, Minnesota against the Rams.
Bill Russell shoots one to right center field, and so his bat looks like it might be coming alive. His 2nd base hit of the ball game.
This whole team has come alive today, Keith. They weren't about to crumble. And they're not awed, obviously, by that history we spoke of. Only 3 times in 7-game World Series, a team coming from a 3-1 deficit to win. Those are the Hardy boys. I think that's a good show for Tom Seaver to get a roll on.
Further my acting career?
That's correct.
1 out. Russell at first base. Reggie Smith now goes back swinging left-handed against Dick Tidrow and fouls the first pitch. Straight back for strike one. Here is Smith's power side.
Matter of fact, you have contemplated an acting career in the future, haven't you, Tom?
That's if you can line me up with any of those friends you got in Hollywood, Howard.
It's not hard. You can't miss.
Strike two. Dick Tidrow, who was a workhorse this past season, throwing at about 87 miles an hour. He started 7 games, appeared in 49 games, pitched 151 innings. He had 5 saves. Two-strike pitch to Smith. Hit deep to right center field. It is going back. It is gone.
Oh, this Dodger team is screaming the ball today. Second home run in the ball game. 12th hit of the ball game. Colossal 10-0 lead at this point. Yankee pitching the opposite of what it's been. How quickly it all can change. As it has for the Dodgers today.
Here's Reggie, a low ball hitter, left-handed. Ball right down about his knees, just above knee high, no question. When it left the bat, it was gone. There he is, Reggie Smith. Hit a monster of a home run in Yankee Stadium. Got another one here today. The last couple of days, I've really been impressed with the Yankee pitching. I think it's really superb. And the thing today is the way the Dodgers have battled back. Knowing that it's 3-1, they're down, their backs against the wall. They've come right back. They're burying the Yankees today, 10-0.
Ron Say at the plate. Bases are now clean with 1 out. Ronnie 0 for 3. Good pitch by Tidrow. Strike one.
The Dodgers have not been scoring in the middle innings in this series up until today. 4 in the 4th, 3 in the 5th, 2 now in the 6th.
Pretty well out of Billy Martin's hands at the moment, unless the Yankees can come up with a considerable display of comeback. 2-1 to say, with Garvey waiting on deck. Ball is hit well to left field. Vanilla just back and to his right and makes the catch.
This crowd screams with every fly ball that's hit.
Well, that little guy there hit enough during the year for him to
caused
scream.
them to scream. You're right.
Yes, sir.
I talked yesterday about the transformation in this Dodger team in the recent years. Hello, Frank. Now they're a power team where they used to be a speed and pitching team.
Garvey at the plate, struck out, doubled, and singled. With 2 out. Garvey rolls it on the ground to Bucky Dent at shortstop. Throws him out. And so the Dodgers add 2 more runs in the bottom of the 6th inning. After 6 complete innings, 10-0 Los Angeles. The line score on the ball game as we go to the top of the 7th inning. The Dodgers 10 runs on 12 hits. The Yankees struggling with Sutton. He has a 3-hitter going to this time, the highest shutout score in World Series. 12-0, Yankees over the Pirates in 1960. Last time we had a shutout in the World Series was Game 1, 1975, and Luis Tiant beat Cincinnati 6-0 on 5 hits.
I remember the 12-0 game vividly. That was another shutout for Whitey Ford. Earlier, he had shut out the Bucks in the same World Series by this very score, 10-0.
Don Sutton pitching now to Reggie Jackson, Chris Chambliss, and Greg Nettles.
If you remember, Tom, I'm sorry, Keith, if you remember, Tom, that was the series when Stengel started Art Ditmar in the first game.
2-1.
And he was roundly criticized by his own players for it, and they felt later that was what cost them the series. That, in fact, was not the case. The Yankees led in the final game. The Bucks caught them with a big home run by Hal Smith and won it with a big home run by base hit for Reggie.
Reggie Jackson breaking loose for the first time today as he singles to right center field, and it'll bring up Chris Chambliss.
Chris
by Mazeroski on a high fastball from Ralph Terry. It was a great World Series.
Chambliss 1 for 2. Had a single his last time up in the 5th inning. 4 hits now for New York.
Jen runs a little much, Keith.
That's a big mountain, isn't it? Shot to right, base hit, second in a row for Chambliss. Jackson turns at second. He's going to third. The throw through. He's in there. Tell you one thing, Reggie Smith will take a shot at you. Both Reggie Smith and Reggie Jackson have good arms.
They've got the ammunition to do it, too. Reggie Jackson not playing conservatively, even though he's down 10-0. Nobody out. Gave Reggie Smith a test going all the way from first to third.
Back-to-back singles by the Yankees now, mounting a threat against Sutton. Dodger pen still quiet. Why shouldn't they be? Leading 10-0. Here's Greg Nettles. Foul, straight back. Top of the 7th inning. Tuesday night, Yankee Stadium, 8 o'clock Eastern Time, Game 6. One ball, one strike.
Sutton knows that Nettles there's the Yankee bullpen. Catfish Hunter, he was out here before I got here today. I got here about 9. He was already here having a chew tobacco.
Changes outside. 2 balls, 1 strike.
I know Nettles is a fastball hitter, a dead fastball hitter. That pitch was a curveball. Pitch before that was a changeup. Greg will get a lot of curveballs, a lot of off-speed pitches.
Popped him foul back here. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Reggie Jackson at third. Chris Chambliss at first, who says his share of the World Series going to go toward a new house and some new clothes for Audrey at Upper Saddle River, New Jersey. Audrey, his wife. Punch down the line, left field, fair ball. Reggie Jackson scores. There goes the shutout. Ball picked up in the left field corner by Baker, thrown into the plate. A couple of fans came down out of the stands trying to get a hold of it.
I must say, Nettles hit that pitch beautifully, Tom. Right where he went with the pitch.
Well, they've been pitching him tough. Greg, of course, a fastball hitter. Looked like an off-speed pitch just down on the outside corner. He just went with it. Even out of the strike zone, it looked like. But 2 strikes. He's protecting the plate. He's tried to pull everything. You'll see a couple of people come out of the stands at the camera stays trying to get a souvenir. They may get an escort out of the ballpark for that.
They should.
That's the first untoward incident I guess we've had here at Dodger Stadium.
Here at Dodger Stadium.
Elias Sosa gets up in the bullpen now. Yankees got on the scoreboard at 10-1 with Chambliss over at third. Nettles down at second. Lou Piniella loops it to right. Reggie Smith, a fine running catch. And Chambliss won't test it.
Beautiful play by Reggie Smith.
Reggie sits that out there and said, I dare you, I dare you. You go ahead and try.
Great
He's got a
catch.
super arm in right field, a great catch and a super arm.
That is the first out of the inning.
Reggie makes a good play, and if the camera stays on him long enough, you'll see Reggie say, I dare you, go ahead and try and score. Good running catch. He comes up and checks the runners, gets in throwing position. They didn't test it.
Batter now is Bucky Dent. Foul at the plate. Elias Sosa is now joined by Lance Robson, left-hander.
You don't test it when you're trailing by 9, I'll tell you. And Lasorda leaving nothing to chance with 2 men working in the bullpen.
Roy White scheduled to hit for the pitcher. There's a strike. It's 2 strikes on Bucky Dent. 1 out, Nettles at second, Chambliss at third. Jackson is home. Yankees have 2 singles and a double in this inning. Total of 6 hits now off Don Sutton. Dent steps out. Long hill to climb, though. Down 10-1.
Sutton and Yeager have a little trouble with the signs here. You'll see a series of signs given by Yeager.
Fouled again at the plate.
On that series of signs with a man in scoring position, now Greg Nettles can look in and see what Yeager is flashing out to Sutton. There's the runner at third base, Chris Chambliss, and there's Nettles. The catcher will give a series of signs, and one of them might be an indicator. Maybe one's the indicator or two the indicator. The indicator could be the count on the board, it could be the number of outs, but he'll give several signs.
Yeager asks for help from the first base umpire. You can see John McSherry says no. It's 1 ball, 2 strikes. And of all the catchers in the league, I think probably Yeager asks first and third base umpires for more help than anybody else.
It looked like he went around to me. I think he held up. Didn't break his wrist. His bat went through the strike zone, though.
Hit on the ground to Lopes. Chambliss comes in from third as the putout is made at first, and it's 10-2 Dodgers. Bucky Dent going to the right side to get the man in from third base. Now here is Roy White. 268 on the regular season for the veteran of the Yankee roster, Roy White. 0 for 1 as a pinch hitter in game number 2 of the World Series. Hits the ball to the left side of the infield for Bill Russell at shortstop. Makes the catch and the inning is over. But the Yankees peck away and get a couple of runs. Score now after 6.5, 10-2, Los Angeles. Frank's not singing. Frank Sinatra, Barbara. Everybody standing in the middle of the 7th inning. Most of them singing. Happy home crowd as the Dodgers lead by a score of 10-2, and Jim Catfish Hunter will be the 4th Yankee pitcher. Gullett started, still the pitcher of record. Clay, Tidrow, and now Hunter, and Tuesday night, 8 Eastern Time, 7 Central, 6 in the Mountains, and 5 in Pacific Time. The Dodgers and the Yankees in game number 6. I'm semi-positive about that. With a 10-2 lead, the Dodger bullpen active. Jim Hunter is in now. He was shelled in game number 2 by the Dodgers. Been a hard year for Catfish.
Starting pitchers will needle each other quite a bit. I told you I was down talking to the Catfish in the dugout. In the locker room the other day, and I said, Cat, you got to get Billy to put you in there. That 19-point ERA, that doesn't look very good. You got to get in there and get a couple guys out, get it down to around 8 or something. He's got as good a sense of humor as anybody I've ever met.
He really does. He's
terrific.
a completely professional human being. He's been one of the greatest pitchers of all time. His career may be far from over. He's young enough yet. He's had a difficult year. He is so warmly regarded by Reggie Jackson that what happened to him the other day was what caused Jackson to sound off emotionally. But at the same time, Thurman Munson told us that Catfish wasn't nearly as bad in what he was throwing as the record indicated. And one can only hope for the sake of a great, great performer that he can make it back.
He will work to Dusty Baker, Lee Lacy, and Steve Yeager. Baker, a pair of singles, and he scored twice in 3 trips. First pitch from Jim Hunter is high for ball 1.
Thurman said he got hurt with just 2 pitches the other night, really, a couple of hanging sliders. Thurman felt that he might have been at fault by not calling enough fastballs. The first 2 pitches here have been fastballs. I talked to Catfish about it, and we talked about making mistakes as a pitcher. It was a check swing, foul ball, 2 balls and 1 strike. A lot of times a pitcher, when he's trying to throw too hard and he gets his body out in front of that slider and the arm has nowhere to go, it gets underneath the slider. That's what causes the hanging, called the hanging slider.
Has strike 2 and 2 now.
You get so fast with the bottom part of your body that the upper part of your body can't catch up with it. You can't keep up with it. And as a result, to be able to come through with a pitch, your hand falls underneath the ball. And to throw the slider, you've got to keep your hand on top of the ball.
Stroke to left, base hit for Dusty Baker. He's 3 for 4.
As the viewers have come to learn by now, you, Tom Seaver, a positive student of pitching, unlike many pitchers who just throw the ball. You have studied every aspect of your trade. But it doesn't stop there, folks. Tom submitted a paper in geology on the various kinds of infields in the major leagues, taking a sample from each and every one of them. Interesting paper, Tom.
Very interesting. Interesting study I was doing for...
Lee Lacy, bouncer to Nettles, over to second. That's all.
Ball almost popped out of Randolph's glove there. Saw a lot of white.
Study I was doing for my degree at the University of Southern California, and we were entertained in pregame show by the University of Southern California Marching Trojan Band. What a thrill it was, too.
Here's a change. Sparky Lyle there.
What a beautiful mustache.
Johnny Oates is coming to the plate for Los Angeles. The first appearance by Johnny Oates in this World Series. Johnny got to be happy about that. He was beginning to wonder if he was going to get a shot at it. Did not participate in the playoffs either as an active player in a game. 10-2, Los Angeles leading. At bat in the bottom of the 7th inning, and the first pitch to Johnny Oates from Jim Hunter is high and away with 1 out.
What grade did you get on your geology paper, Tom?
A flashing A. Wrote a 35-page paper.
Stroke into center. Rivers coming, gets it. Ball line to center field. No real wild swings today that we had seen in the past. It's been just put it up there and take it. It's exactly what Johnny Oates did.
How did you wind up evaluating the infields?
Well, what I did, Howard, I compared, I took all the infielders in the National League, compared them with my professional feelings and with an engineering firm in New Jersey, and I felt the grounds in front of home plate were hardest here in Los Angeles and in St. Louis and Pittsburgh, and then we brought back the analysis from the engineering firm, and they backed up what I felt as a professional, as a professional athlete.
Don Sutton is at the plate. The count is 1-1. We are told that Steve Yeager has an injury to his right leg. The degree of it, we don't know. Johnny Oates will replace him back of the plate. It's 1 ball and 2 strikes on Don Sutton.
And there's Johnny Oates. They don't want to lose Yeager, obviously, for any remaining games. Yeager leading both teams in RBIs.
Foul.
2 home runs in the series, a 3-run blast today.
1 ball, 2 strike count of the Dodger pitcher with 2 out, and Lee Lacy at first base. Strikes out, the bat goes skittering down the third baseline. Thurman Munson gives him the baseball after 7 complete innings of play. The Los Angeles Dodgers have 10 runs. The New York Yankees have 2 runs. Back with more baseball after this word from our local station. Dodger Stadium. Some of the folks beginning to leave now and make their way toward their automobiles or whatever transportation might have brought them here. With their team leading, I guess some of the home folks figure they can go now and get ready for Sunday night dinner. Beautiful warm day in Los Angeles. 10-2 ball game. Mickey Rivers top of the order, followed by Willie Randolph and Thurman Munson against Don Sutton. Outside. Lance Robson and Elias Sosa were up in the pen, throwing for the Dodgers in the top of the 7th inning when New York broke through against Sutton for 2 runs. That pitch was high. Ball 2 now. Mickey Rivers is hitless in 3 trips today. Say in on the grass at third base. Strike in there. 2-1. Ball 3. 3-1 to Mickey Rivers.
Interesting quiz on the board. You see that 14 pitchers have hit a home run in the World Series game. Last time it happened was exactly 3 years ago today. That pitcher's in uniform here. Who is he?
There's a strike. 3 and 2.
I'd be guessing. I would say who was in the World Series 3 years ago? Athletics?
Yankees, Reds last year, Red Sox, Boston the year before, and then
Jim Hunter.
Jim Catfish Hunter.
The Catfish, wouldn't it?
Dusty Baker drifting
That's
back
the
in left field and makes the catch for the first out.
Willie Randolph.
Willie Randolph at the plate now with 1 gone and nobody on and a 10-2 Dodger lead. If it stays this way, Yankees will have a 3-2 edge going back to Yankee Stadium Tuesday night, 8 Eastern time for game number 6. Right here on ABC. Low. Ronnie Say, Webb of the glove. Got it. 2 down.
A lot of noise in this ballpark today for the first time in 3 days. And why not? 10-2.
Thurman Munson for the Yankees now. 1 for 3. .13-6 in hits. First errors in the series by the Yankees. They've stranded 4 men today. Munson hits it high and deep to left. Baker going way back, and it's gone.
Sure.
Home run, Munson.
Munson having a couple of words with Sutton as he's running around the bases, too, it looked like, for one reason or another. I don't know why. Maybe it's a bits of humor. Sutton is doing a little smiling on the mound. He also knows that he's ahead by 7 runs in the top of the 8th inning, too.
2 hits for Thurman on the day. He continues to hit in every game. What a solid athlete.
Johnny Oates doing the catching, relieving Steve Yeager. Here is Reggie Jackson, who has a single and has scored a run in 3 trips to the plate. Another look at Munson's home run there as it goes out. And the first pitch to Reggie Jackson, strike 1. Reggie had a home run with the bases empty yesterday for New York. They've now hit 3 in the World Series. There's a high drive deep to right.
It's fair. Hits the screen. It hits the screen. The foul
home run, Jackson. Back-to-back home runs off Don Sutton, and it is now 10-4 Dodgers.
That's the first time in this World Series that the Yankees have manifested the kind of power that carried them to the finish. Back-to-back home runs by their 2 biggest hitters.
Now the deficit is trimmed to 6 runs on 8 hits. They have 4 runs, 8 hits, trailed by 6 as Chambliss stands in there, and Chris can lose it.
The biggest home run hitter, of course, has been Greg Nettles. He is not connected. But Greg hits in the 250s.
2 out, 2 homers, 10-4. Outside, 2 balls, no strikes to Chambliss. Sounded like it broke his bat. Grounds it to Davy Lopes. Lopes throws him out. The inning is over. New York banging back. Hit a pair of home runs from Thurman Munson and from Reggie Jackson. Now, at the middle of the 8th inning, it is 10-4 Dodgers. Tuesday night, 8 Eastern Time, Game 6. The Dodgers and Yankees from Yankee Stadium on ABC. Those back-to-back home runs by Munson and Jackson been done only 8 times as Davy Lopes steps up for the Dodgers to lead the bottom of the 8th inning, grounds it to Nettles. Greg throws him out, 1 down.
Play wasn't as easy as it may have looked to some either. That was a tough hop for Nettles to handle. If you remember the error he made, perhaps a key play in that Dodger 4-run rally as we look at it again. Watch this, Tommy, you'll see.
Lopes hit the ball hard, too.
He looks at it, makes sure he has it.
Ball's hit that hard, third baseman knows he's got a lot of time, even with a guy like Davy Lopes running.
The error he made was on a ball that apparently hopped higher than he thought it would, above his glove.
Looked like the ball came up on him. This Dodger Stadium, sometimes you'll get bad hops once in a while.
Well, you said it has the hardest infield. Your geological study established that.
That is correct.
Bill Russell is the batter now. Cliff Johnson is catching for New York, his first appearance in the World Series. Big, husky, right-handed power hitter himself. Ball 1, Jim Hunter to Bill Russell. Russell today with a pair of base hits, threatening to break out of his slump. That pitch is low. It is ball 2. Cliff Johnson, whereas Steve Yeager and Munson have a relatively low target, Johnson is so big, he can't get too low. That's fouled away.
You see that he has a much different technique behind the plate. He gets down on one knee, both Munson and Yeager using a squatting position, but Cliff's a pretty big boy. Look at him standing up there, 6'4" or whatever he is.
Jolly
Big
soul,
man.
too, thank goodness. He's a happy sort of a fellow. Fouled again by Russell. Jim Hunter, the 4th New York pitcher today, working against the Dodgers in the bottom of the 8th inning. Dodgers leading 10-4. Russell shoots another one foul. I have a feeling that Billy making as much contact as he's made today is going to be supper's going to be much more palatable to him tonight.
Yeah, he's a lot more aggressive with the bat, too. Your confidence is a wonderful thing, and you get that first hit leading off the first time you get up in the ball game. It helps you throughout the entire contest. Hit that ball hard, too. Yes, sir.
It's caught by Piniella. Fine running catch by Lou Piniella in left field for the second out.
Even when you make an out, if you're swinging the bat well and you hit the ball hard, it does a lot for your confidence. Because he's been, Billy's been having some weak ground balls and some bad pop-ups, and he hasn't been stinging the ball. There, he hit the ball good. He made an out, but still he hit the ball well.
Now it is Reggie Smith, who homered last time. Word is that Steve Yeager should be all right by Tuesday night, sore leg or no.
Before the game, he told me he had 3 games left for this season in that knee of his, and that's all. No more than 3.
They rested him. They're now resting Thurman Munson. We have Cliff Johnson catching for New York and Johnny Oates catching for Los Angeles. Jim throws that into the backstop. It's 2 balls and no strikes. Cincinnati and Pittsburgh square off on ABC's Monday Night Football at 9 Eastern Time. Mike Garman and Elias Sosa in the bullpen for Los Angeles. It's 3 balls and no strikes now. Don Sutton in the pen. Don tapped by Munson and Jackson for back-to-back home runs in the last inning. Foul in the crowd. Skipped in.
What a difference watching Reggie Smith bat left-handed as against right-handed. Just in the whole presence, confidence is evident.
High pop to the right side for Willie Randolph. Has it. And the inning is over. Jim Hunter gets the Dodgers in order in the bottom of the 8th inning. We have 1 inning left to play. Only half inning unless the Yankees come up with something big. Dodgers lead 10-4. To the top of the 9th inning. Don Sutton trying to go all the way and beat the Yankees in Game 5 to take it back to New York. 3-2, favor of the Yankees. He'll pitch to Greg Nettles, Lou Piniella, Bucky Dent, and then the pitcher spot. Nettles pops it foul back here.
Oh.
Everything's final. Dallas beating Washington 27-16. Miami edging the Jets. Giants over San Francisco. And foul.
Keith, that Dallas game isn't over yet, but as I said, they exploded, as I expected. Minnesota again with that big victory over Chicago. Detroit with a close one over Green Bay. Cleveland, a squeaker, 1-point game over Houston. That must have been a beauty. Baltimore continues to roll. The Jets did make a game of it, by the way, against Miami. Walt Michaels doing, look at Denver over Oakland. Oh, they'll go crazy in Broncos City.
Fly ball right field. Reggie Smith lost it.
Reggie never saw it. Lost that ball right in the sun.
Never saw it.
Tough sun field, 3:54 out here, Pacific time. Reggie looked up, just spread his arms, and no way did he know where the ball was.
You know, must be the happiest man in America today in the other sport, football.
There's Reggie
you
Smith.
see.
You can see him with his hands
Right.
way apart. Just lost it, totally lost it. Davey Lopes had no play on the ball.
Davey didn't have time to tell him where it was either. Lou Piniella now coming to the plate with the leadoff man, Nettles at first base.
What a victory that'll be for a fella named Craig Morton. How much joy for him.
Swing and a miss, strike one. The expansion team's having a good one today.
New England came back, is routing San Diego.
Inside. Steve Yeager has a bruised knee.
Nice backs are on it. They're quite sure he'll be able to play.
Ball is hit high in the air to right center field and deep. Glenn Burke goes to the track to make the catch to retire Piniella. And Nettles back to first. One out in the top of the ninth inning.
If I know Steve Yeager, you'd have to put him in a cage. He's not going to play Tuesday night. He'll go out there with a cast on his left leg if he has to.
What a nice day this has been for a fellow named Don Sutton. For a fellow named Reggie Smith. For a fellow named Steve Yeager. And for Tommy Lasorda, of course.
High pop, foul ground. Catch made by Johnny Oates.
It's also been a nice day for Billy Russell, who came alive. For Davey Lopes, who had 2 hits. It's been a good day for Steve Garvey, who had a couple of big hits to right field, a double and a single.
Tough day on Billy.
Lee Lacy, and it's been a day of torment for that man, Billy Martin. The Dodgers were on the ropes, but how they rebounded today.
Paul Blair at the plate with 2 out and Greg Nettles on first base. In the top of the ninth inning, and the Dodgers leading 10-4. Little looper out to center. Burke there. Game's over. Dodgers win a pressure game. Now 3 games to 2 in New York, and the World Series goes on back to Yankee Stadium Tuesday night at 8 Eastern time. Don Sutton all the way for the win. 10-4 Dodgers. Back after this message and a word from our local station.